Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 20th of May 2021, although today it feels more like the 20th of March. It's a little bit chilly, as you can see, out on the river again, still on this little holiday of ours on the Norfolk Broads. And although the weather's not so good today, it really is doing us a power of good, just kind of being away from it all, just to recharge the batteries, a couple of days. And there's something about being on the water as well, which is just extra peaceful, extra sort of restorative. I don't know what it is. It's almost like you're in a parallel world to the normal world, more peaceful, slower world, closer to nature. And yeah, it really is fantastic, and it doesn't really matter what the weather's like either. Highly recommend it. But yeah, I'm not really looking too much at the news, although my wife was sort of looking at a couple of things on the BBC this morning. Recommendation for a third jab and all this kind of thing. No thank you, not even gonna have the first one, but there you go. Did watch yesterday's episode of UK Column News. That's interesting, well worth a watch. They were saying, among other things, or showing some graphs which for various different countries, showing basically the incidence of the virus, and since the kind of introduction of the big V in them. And you'd expect, if it's all it was cracked up to be, that the graphs would be sort of heading downwards, but in fact they are sort of either horizontal, or in the case of some countries, sort of headed upwards like that. So I thought that was very interesting. So that would be well worth a watch. They're also talking about how there's doctors in other countries warning the British authorities about the dangers of the big V and other things, and how people in this country are just totally ignoring them, and apparently we're getting a bit of a bad reputation for just never answering emails. Well, I can tell them that because they don't even report on 500,000 people marches like the one on the 24th of April. Probably 500,000 people there, and total silence from the mainstream. So not really surprised that people aren't answering emails, I'm afraid, even though it certainly is bad. We've got the FLCCC update occurring today or tonight, so I'll be watching that and reporting on what the latest findings are on there in the next couple of days. Hopefully they've got plenty more to speak about as far as Goa's concerned. I've sort of seen a few other reports, but nothing from them yet about Goa. So it'll be interesting to see if they say anything about it today, and whatever they say, I'll be reporting back, as I say, in the next couple of days on that. So just going to carry on with this boat trip. We've got a fair old way to go. Just a last thought, we're kind of on our way back to base now, but we went all the way up there, way further than we did yesterday, to this nice little pub, had a cup of coffee, and it's interesting how perceptions change, isn't it? And a graphic example of that is price of cups of coffee. And even if you went to a pub for a coffee 25 years ago, you'd have only paid about sort of 50p for a cup of tea or coffee. No one would have dreamt of paying any more than that. Well, it might be £1 now in today's money terms, but yeah, you certainly wouldn't have paid anything more than £1 for a cup of coffee. But just by rebranding the thing and calling it some sort of fancy Italian names like lattes and cappuccinos and Americanos, etc., they can now charge sort of £3 for a cup of coffee. So very interesting how perceptions can change, and if it can be done with something as simple as a cup of coffee, obviously it can be done with much more complex and obviously sinister things, as we've seen over the last year. So I thought that just shows how we are manipulated like that. Tim from Fair Play Now, thanks for watching.